Ever heard of the High Sheriff, better known as the White Wizard of Beaufort, South Carolina? J.E. McTeer took over as sheriff at the age of 22 in Beaufort, South Carolina after his father suddenly passed away. From 1926 to 1963, there was one man whom he seemed to be at odds with throughout this entire time, and that was the famous Dr. Buzzard. Now, throughout this time, McTeer attempted on several occasions to charge Dr. Buzzard with practicing medicine without a license, but each time it would go to trial, witnesses or someone would go into convulsions, causing Dr. Buzzard to not be convicted. Now, when subsequent charges and convictions failed, that's when McTeer decided to take up the practice of root work himself. Now, when rumors began to swirl that McTeer was his own powerful root worker, it was suspected that he was the one who started these rumors. Now, McTeer specialized in removing hexes and roots put on people that were done by Dr. Buzzard, Dr. Eagle, Dr. Bug, and as many as 20 other local root doctors within the Beaufort County community. And at that point, he became known as the White Witch Doctor. This was not due to the color of his skin, though. It was due to the fact that he was trying to combat the effects of African black magic. It was McTeer's belief that he could be a lot more effective in his community doing it this way than to try to attempt to erase centuries of African spiritual traditions through the use of law enforcement and other methods. Now, because of this practice of his, he actually did not take any money from anyone. So all of his services were completely free. And by the time he retired as sheriff in 1963, he began practicing his root work full time. And at that point, he was taking multiple calls a week and receiving a lot of letters on a daily basis from people all over the country seeking his help. Now, McTeer and Robinson, aka Dr. Buzzard, did come to a truce after Robinson's son died in a car wreck. And yes, it is believed that McTeer was the one who put a root on Robinson's son. Whether or not that's actually true, that is one of the rumors that began swirling around. But the two did call a truce after that point. Now, during that time, McTeer also got into the inner circle of Dr. Eagle, and Dr. Eagle began showing McTeer some things as well. And at that point, it is believed that the two would often communicate on the effects at that time of New Age spirituality and hoodoo and voodoo. And by New Age, they meant people getting their supplies through these mail order companies. So not New Age like we think about it today, but it was just the state of how people were getting their roots and herbs at that point and who would be the conjurers to come after them. Now, during McTeer's time as law enforcement, while he was studying and gaining these powers, so to speak, it is believed that he would try it out on people he arrested by either using his powers as some type of lie detector, or as a way to get people to confess, and even as a way to get convictions, or just all out information from folks. But that's just part one of this video on the Low Country root doctors. I wanted to start with the sheriff first, but I'm going to spend the next couple of videos going over some other people and some other practices that you may not have heard of. So let me know what you think about this in the comments. Have you ever heard of this guy? And what do you think about a sheriff getting into the practice of root work in order to combat hexes and curses put on people by the black practitioners in the area?